everyone, I'm Bosh, I'm the butcher.
I'm Yos, I'm the chef.
And welcome to Marble and Grain. Today, Yos is going to make for us flat iron steaks. Lunch. Whatever it is, Yos is making lunch, just say yes. All right, Yos.
So we have a really hot 15-inch cast iron pan here. Pour me a little bit of oil. This is not olive oil, this is a vegetable oil, so it has a higher smoke point. Just gonna move that around a little bit.
Before you burn your hands.
Yeah, my hands already been burnt many years.
For those at home who don't have calluses covering most of their hand and still feel heat, use a towel when picking up cast iron pans. They get hot very quickly, and they get hot, and the handle gets as hot as the rest of the pan.
Right, so now I'm just doing a little salt, and we're gonna do some pepper. Grind me. There we go. On one side, let's go do a flip. Beautiful. All right, so now I got it in. You always want to lay it down and then go away from you. Listen to that sizzle. I'm not even gonna talk. And remember, these used to be minute roasts, so definitely not more than a minute.
Especially not with how thin they are. So Yos, what temperature are we looking at on this?
We're looking, I like a medium rare. I like it on the more to the 135 side of medium rare.
I'm usually
make some room.
Yep.
There we go.
Let me go grab the thermometer, because not everyone can tell with their finger like you can.
Well, I also look on an easy piece like this. I also look and see where it's coming up. But
right, I mean, these really need very little time because they're so thin. You get the sear on the outside.
And sometimes you just got to press down on the edges. The edges curl up. Sometimes you just got to press down on the edges.
But you don't want to push down on the middle and squeeze out all the juices.
No.
All right, that's under over.
Oh, it's under.
No, what do you think?
Oh, what do I think it's at? I think it's at 120.
And very under. We're still at 60 because this came right out of the fridge. So it's going to take a little bit more time to heat up, but you don't want to leave your meat sitting out for too long because that's unsafe.
You also don't want to go from the fridge to this.
I have no problem going from the fridge to the pan.
I like to keep it out for at least half an hour.
Half an hour is the most I'd say is safe, just because it was sitting out in the store. It was sitting out when you took it home.
Well, if you went to marbleandgrain.com, it wasn't sitting out. It was directly from, within a week of it getting shucked, it's in the freezer, cut down retail, it's not sitting out. The frozen preserves that freshness.
And remember, always defrost in the refrigerator, not on the counter. It's looking gorgeous.
And it smells. I wish we had smell-o-vision.
And you're starting to get the browning, which is the Maillard reaction. That's what gives that roastiness to meat. It gives the roastiness to bread. It's that bready roast feeling.
So I have a question, right? We taught 25 years ago that the Maillard reaction, that outside really seals in the juices, but that's kind of been debunked.
Correct.
Okay.
It actually.
I mean, still good presentation, flavor on the outside, stuff like that, but it does not seal in the juices.
Correct. Right now we're doing a straight sear versus a reverse sear. It's been proven that a reverse sear, since you have less shock, your muscles go from 60 to 225 instead of from 60 to 500. You have less of contraction on the muscle. You get a juicier and softer steak.
Now I'm just probing it.
That one's a lot thicker.
That one's a lot thicker, so this one's at 85, even though it went on first. This one's already at,
what was that, 100?
111, 110.
For me, that's done, but we'll go a little longer for you.
Yeah, I mean, you like to eat the cow when it's mooing, no?
The biggest problem I have is when I'm koshering what I chefed, remembering you cannot eat it before it's koshered.
It's like the nibble.
Yeah, you're cleaning it, you're cutting it. It's like,
Look at that color. Look at the Maillard reaction now.
I mean, that is perfect.
Beautiful.
We just have to wait for the middle to hit temperature. Once we pull it off, we're going to rest it for about, with these, since they're so thin, about 5 minutes. That lets the juice redistribute throughout the meat, while currently, since you have the high heat outside, It causes the juices to push towards the outside because the muscles are squeezing the inside meat. This allows those muscles to relax and the juice to reabsorb in.
So I have a question for you. A lot of people I see, they do that and they put foil over it when it's relaxing. What do you feel about that? I personally don't do it.
I don't like the foil. I feel you don't really gain anything. The only thing you do is you lose part of your crust because you're now steaming that piece of meat.
Okay, so we see eye to eye on that.
129. I mean, that one looks.
This one looks ready to come up, and let's talk about carryover cooking while we're here.
Okay.
When you take it out, right? You should be taking out about 5.
Depending on the size of the steak. I mean, these are thin steaks, so
Sure.
I would give these 5 degrees. While on a big roast where you have all that surface area, all that
and
heat,
also how long it's been in there.
correct. That I'd give 10 degrees because you're just going to have that much more heat absorb in.
Oh, that looks great. So while this flat irons are resting, we're gonna go with the Terrace Major. We're gonna just some salt.
I'm gonna hit a little bit more oil in the pan, let it come back up to
Beautiful.
temperature.
A little bit of some fresh ground pepper. It's just, when they say fresh ground, it really makes a difference. I don't know what to tell you other than it just makes a difference. Try to do it.
The longer the pepper's cracked, the volatile oils have time to
And that goes with
oxidize.
all spices, really.
Correct.
Especially ones that need to be ground.
You're better keeping spices as whole as possible. That way you keep all the flavor in.
All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
This is where it begins, with farm-raised cattle on the rolling fields of American grasslands. Top quality is not just something we say around here. It's what we believe in. That's why we go above and beyond to exceed your culinary expectations by delivering top-tier, restaurant-grade Black Angus beef. Crafted, cut, and packaged under strict supervision. Only the finest cuts make it onto your plate. Explore our carefully curated selection from the comfort of home. Indulge in the art of flavor. Savor each bite, knowing that you've chosen the very best. Marble and Grain.
Let's do it. Sizzle.
A little more. There we go.
Hear that sizzle? So before we were talking about food safety from the supermarket, so our meat is very different. Like you were saying,
It's from the beginning. It's raised differently. It's at a much smaller facilities. It's more, I'm a private chef. There's a difference whether I'm cooking for 10 people or 100 or 1,000, and I've done it all. Mm-hmm. You just can't do what you do for 10 people at 1,000.
Correct.
It's just, you're allowed to be able to. So the same thing with our, farms and cows, and our facility is some of the best. We have some of the best hunter butchers, basically, because we're upstate New York. We have guys that family's been up there for 100 years, knows the land. They hunt, they know how to break down animals since they're 10 years old. Their daddy and father is teaching them. So I trust those guys with my life.
That's the way to do it. And as the meat's coming frozen, it's locked in and frozen right after butchering.
Right. But let's talk about that. It gets shechted. Then you have within 3 days it needs to get koshered, right?
They won't even go 3 days. They'll kosher it right away.
It depends on the day of the week it gets shechted.
Okay.
Right? And they kosher it right away. So basically within 48 hours, you're ready to start breaking it down. They start breaking it down, and right away they vacuum seal it in, so it has very little time to oxidize, and it goes straight into the deep freezer.
So
it
right
preserves
there,
the freshness.
You locked in the freshness. It's probably better quality than unless you shecht it yourself.
Which you have. I have not.
I had some lamb the other day that went from.
Look at that! Just look at that color.
Ooh, that's
Beautiful.
a gorgeous sear. I had some lamb the other day that went from alive to my plate in an afternoon.
Wow.
So this is the closest you can get without doing that yourself. Because that flash freezing doesn't break your muscle structure, keeps all those muscles intact, and keeps the freshness in.
God, that smell. Oh, I am ready for lunch. That's
I am.
for sure. Sitting here all day talking about meat.
Other than the snacks I had earlier.
What do you think it's at?
Since they're a little thicker,
You're under 100.
but our pan is a lot hotter, I'll go 95.
Okay, this is better. 76, 75. Again, it's a thicker piece of meat than the flat iron.
Our pan's a little hotter than it was before, so we're getting there faster. I mean, look at that. That crust
the sear.
got a lot nicer. Also, the muscle structure lends itself because it's a smoother muscle, so it lays flatter. You get more contact with the pan. That's another thing. Yos, do you like a flat pan, or do you prefer a grill pan?
It depends for what cup. Normally I like a flat pan because I like the crust. I like the flavor, so I want more crust.
Right.
More crust, more flavor.
With the grill pan, you have those lumps, so you don't get a good sear across it. You only get.
I think it's been almost about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Let's cut into that.
So once again, you can see those juices. That looks gorgeous. Remember, we want to cut against the grain, because when you cut with the grain, it makes things tougher. Against the grain will allow it to have an easier chew and a more tender piece of meat.
And at home, you guys can use a regular kitchen knife, not a machete.
This is a special machete.
All right, so here our oyster steaks are resting, and I'm gonna go, these already are well rested. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna start slicing the flat irons.
Boy, you use a large knife very well.
Yes, I thought you were gonna bring out the Sear next to shecht it.
I mean,
This is a Bosch special knife, just to let you know. I have a large chef's knife, like 10 inches, but this is more like mini machete.
I think that was like a full armor.
So this is very nicely rare. Can I offer you a piece?
Perfect rare for me. You can taste the farm.
You really can. It's perfect. I like it a little bit more. I'm more on the higher end of medium rare, but I will be eating it. I promise you that.
I always say, you know what? I'll cut off what I want and ride the rest home.
Right. And then we'll do that. There we go. Oh my God, I don't think I'm going to be able to resist.
This one's more towards your doneness,
Right.
but that is absolutely gorgeous. The color,
And the crust.
the crust, you don't have a large ring of brown or gray around the side, which means it wasn't overcooked. This was done. Yos is a master of cooking.
It really starts with really great ingredients, to be honest. So all I did was take great ingredients from our farm, shipped it here, got it frozen, defrosted in the fridge for 24 hours to 48 hours, and then seared it with salt and pepper on a cast iron pan. If you don't have a cast iron, it works too, but there's something, especially for the crust, there's something, cowboy about a cast iron pan.
The cast iron holds the heat better than, say, aluminum.
Which is probably also why our second piece of meat that we had a better
crust because
it was already had a whole, run of searing off the flat irons. So this is the kind of medium rare that I love. It's still beautiful, raw pink. Look, I can even see through it if I pull it apart. You see that? Gorgeous. Oh, look at that accordion right there.
Cheers, everyone. We look forward to having you guys on our next episode where we're going to be doing rib steaks. We're going to do a reverse sear on the rib steaks versus this was a straight sear. We look forward to having everyone come back. Enjoy.